You turn my mourning into dancing. You turn my mourning into dancing. 'Cause your love changes everything. Your love changes everything. Oh, there's something about your love. Something about your love changes everything in my body. Oh, something about your love. Something about your love changes everything. It changes everything. Something about your love. Something about your love changes everything. It changes everything. Something about your love. Something about your love changes everything. Changes everything. Something about your love. Something about your love changes everything. Something about your love. Something about your love changes everything. Changes everything. Something about your love. Something about your love changes everything. Changes everything. Something about your love. Something about your love changes everything. You turn my mourning into dancing. 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 Something about your love. Something about your love changes everything.
Good morning, Firmly Rooted family. Pastor Tom, Firmly Rooted Church. Great to have you on board on this Thursday morning. Jacksons are in the house, and they are finishing up breakfast. Woo, 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 woo. Look at them go. Go. There was a collision right there as two boys collided. Today I'm just overwhelmed a little bit looking at like the men's devotion this morning and the one today. How often the issue is so simple and somehow we make it really complicated. Like little children, when God says to us, hey, I want you to do it this way, we go, I think I have a better way. No, I want to do it a different way. And he goes, well, no, I'm God and I'm your father and I know more than you know. And we say, no, I think I know as much as you or better than you. And so I'm going to do it my way. And then we pay a price and we wonder why God's not faithful. Why is he punishing us? And he's going, I told you which way to do it. And you didn't do it. It's a constant theme. Hence why I guess you got to understand why I emphasize the two kingdoms and the two natures. Because the further apart I can move my old nature from my new nature, the better I see, right? If my old nature and my new nature are all mixed up, then I'm all mixed up. I don't know which one's thinking or which one's talking. I can get confused. But if I separate the two of them, all of a sudden I go, oh, no, I'm not doing that. I'm going to do this, right? This is what James is talking about today and what he talked about yesterday. But before we get into it too deeply, let's say hi to Pat down at Firmly Rooted Greendale, Connie down at Firmly Rooted Greendale, Ken Gooch, good morning, brothers and sisters in arms. Chuck B, good morning. Steve Giroux, good morning. I'm out there on X. Bert Reggiani, good morning. Karen Thompson, good morning. My sister Trish, not on X today. She's on YouTube. Alice, good morning. Sarah, good morning. Your voice sounded and she shouted, Papa Tom. Emma, I love you. All right. All right. Let me pull the reading up. It's a massive 2 verses that we can look at together. If anyone thinks he's religious, if anyone thinks they've got a relationship with God and does not bridle, right? The bit on a horse, bridle to control the horse, his tongue, but deceives his heart, this person's religion is worthless. James is all full of this. In chapter 3, he's going to hit it really hard. Out of the same mouth comes praising and cursing. This should not be. And every one of us should say amen and then say, oh my goodness, I've got a mouth too. I wonder what comes out of my mouth. If that tongue is that powerful, and I think it is, it's always been designed to be powerful because God is word. God speaks words, and the words are eternally true. And so inherently, if we're created in his image, then we're supposed to use words, and those words are powerful. But then again, if I don't know which one of my natures is thinking and which one of my nature is speaking, it all can get all convoluted and all messed up. If someone thinks they're religious, if someone thinks they're a Christian and doesn't bridle their tongue, they're deceiving themselves. Yesterday, it was be doers of the word and not hearers who deceive themselves, who delude themselves. What good is it if you just hear me, right? How many of us haven't said to my kid, didn't you just hear me? Yeah. Then why aren't you doing it? The inherent answer is, I don't want to. I want to do what I want to do. Bridling. The need to realize that we've got a nature that needs to be controlled because it by nature is out of control. We have a new nature that lives under control, and we got to give it more life. If anyone thinks they're a Christian and does not bridle his tongue, they deceive themselves. They deceive their own hearts. This person's Christianity is worthless. 27. Religion, Christianity, that is pure and undefiled before God the Father. Whoa, 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 is what? Man, we should all be paying attention right now. Religion that is pure and undefiled before God the Father is going to church on Sunday, making sure my kids are in Sunday school, putting money in a plate. I mean, for goodness sake, what does God want from me? Visit orphans and widows in their affliction. Think about those who cannot speak for themselves. Think about those who cannot defend themselves. Think about the least of these. Stop thinking about you and your wants. Find people who are truly in want, like Jesus did, and meet their needs. It's one of the things I love about Firmly Rooted. One of our family members in need, boy, we're there. We find something happening in the community, we're there. And I love that. I'm proud of all of you. But James is trying to tell us that they'll know we're Christians by our love, not just our love for one another, but our love for the broken, for our love for the hurting, our love for those who are wounded. That we're going to become the defenders of people that deserve to be sacred and be seen as sacred, even when the world scoffs them and puts them aside. And in America, maybe even kill them or euthanize them because that's humane. And we say, no. They are created in the image of God. True undefiled religion before God the Father is lived out in taking care of like orphans and widows in their affliction. And then lastly, keep oneself unstained from this world. Think you maybe should not only separate your two natures, but we should separate the two kingdoms as far as possible? Yes and amen. How can I keep myself from being unstained by the world if I got the world all mingled up in my faith? The world needs to be outside. I just visit this planet. I don't live in this planet anymore. I'm not a citizen of this world anymore. We live like people who are citizens of a new kingdom, even when we enter our workplace, even when we enter everyday life. All right. Let me pull that back out of here.
You're done?
And let me see who else came on board. Kimberly Jackson. Hey, Kimberly Jackson, you want to see two silly boys? Oh, there's one. Where's the other one? Don't be surprised if the other one doesn't come across his eyes, because every time he comes on the screen, he crosses his eyes. Louis, come here. Yes, silly bumpkin. Say hi to Grandma. There's the eyes. Say hi.
Hi.
All right. Diane Giroux, good morning. All right, everyone. Blessings on your day. Make it a firmly rooted day, and may someone see Jesus in us today. Peace.